Hey Lifers, Dustin here, and we are only eight Saturdays away from the start of the college football season, 7 from the week 0 games, but 8 Saturdays away from when everyone starts playing. Today is a video that is near and dear to my heart. It has been suggested by a couple of people on this platform, as well as pretty much any young college football fan that I know of, and that is, how in the world can we finally bring back EA Sports NCAA Football video game franchise? This is, without a doubt, my favorite video game franchise of all time. If I told you how many hours I have spent playing this stupid video game, going back all the way to NCAA Football 04, I believe, with Joey Harrington? Maybe it was 03. That was the first one I ever bought. Thousands of hours playing this video game. I'm not kidding. This is how I started watching movies. I would play my video game and watch movies on my computer because I'm a millennial and I have to multitask. This game was everything. Since I got this video game, I've probably had played it more days than days I didn't play it. Going back to like 2004. I used to wait up like many of you and go to GameStop at midnight on the day it was released and grab it, go home, unpackage it, figure out all the brand new modes that they have, start creating my rosters, start doing my scheduling, go into Dynasty mode. It was incredible, and it is the first week of July. This is the week that the game would have come out. This is when NCAA 18 would have been hitting the shelves, and of course we haven't had any since NCAA 14 and 2013. It's been rough. Of course, EA Sports famously discontinued the franchise after they were sued by a group of former players and athletes who claimed that EA Sports was making money off their likeness and not giving them a cut of any of the money, which, you know, they did. That's exactly what EA Sports did. And of course, NCAA rules dictate that a player, while a student athlete in school, cannot make money off of their likeness based on anything. So EA Sports probably was like, well, we don't have to pay them then, but they're making the money off the player's likeness. But so is the school. It's kind of a tricky situation. There's also been rumors that certain teams and certain conferences didn't like the bargain that they were getting from their stadiums and tradition and teams being in the video game, not enough monetary cut. I'm not sure about that, but that sounds likely. That sounds like such a Texas thing to do. I feel like Texas was upset. So, question of the day. How do we fix this? How do we bring back this great video game franchise that we all love, that we all desperately miss playing? I think this is a pretty complex issue, but I'm going to try to simplify it by saying we can bring it back by doing one very simple thing. Don't pay the players. Okay, actually, it's a little... Let me break that down. Don't put their likeness in the game. Just have some dude be the quarterback of the Texas Longhorns, and some dude be the running back for Arkansas, and some dude play at Hawaii. Make the quarterback of Fresno State, number 26, some dude, make the defensive back at Clemson, number 97, and be 350 pounds, and let us as the fans adjust everything. Now, there's a lot of people that are going to hear that and have this immediate reaction like, dude, what the hell? No. And I understand. I really, as an Alabama fan, I really, really want to play this season as Jalen Hurts. I think it would be great. I love, like, spread option offense. He would be a perfect player for me, but would I rather play as some white guy named Dale that I can modify later on instead of not playing the game at all? Absolutely. The truth is, not all heroes wear capes, and there will be some guys, some of y'all out there that are so dedicated to this game, you will stay up for 3 days straight and craft the perfect roster with the exact weight and height and abilities for all the players that are on this team. And if you are an Auburn fan and you really, really want to play as the Auburn Tigers this year with this year's roster, you can always go in and download that I'm not the most tech-savvy person in the world. I don't know how you would do that, but I know you can. You can download mods and put it in and actually create the rosters if that's really what you want to do. But the great thing about college football and college football games is if you go into dynasty mode, where you're a head coach and you're building up programs, by the 2022 season, none of the players that are in this game that are on the teams that you're coaching will be there anyway. The whole point of a lot of the gameplay, at least in my experience, is building up a dynasty, building up championships, recruiting, and all of that fun stuff. The players that you have right now will be gone soon anyway. Now, the obvious downside to this is if you're playing against somebody else, so not necessarily a user-created team and you're playing online, but if you're playing against your friends and you just want to pick teams. I remember me and my cousin a bunch of years ago when they had FCS teams on there. I was Youngstown State and he was Richmond. I didn't know any of the players from that team, but if you wanted to play as Alabama this year because you like Jalen Hurts and you like Calvin Ridley, you can't do that. And I understand that, and I am empathetic to that. But my big thing is I would rather have this game with all of the teams and conferences and bowls and championships and rivalries than not have it at all. Even if when I do have it, it's with this deformed mismatch of rosters. Hopefully, if these schools and conferences don't want to be in this game, public pressure, if the money doesn't change it, public pressure will, even though I assume the money probably isn't a whole lot from these games. It's still better than nothing, and maybe EA Sports can negotiate something where each conference has DLC or something where they get a bigger share of the profit. I'm not a business guy. I don't know anything about the video game, esports marketplace. But I'm sure that the people at EA Sports, they're not hurting, by the way. They have the Madden games. They have plenty of stuff going on where they're making enough money. If they gave a little bit more revenue back to the conferences and the schools and the NCAA, maybe that could help. I'm not some kind of a legal guru. I don't know about all of the interlocking parts of the lawsuits and the way you pay people out from the past games. But this franchise is an absolute goldmine. It would only take probably a few releases for them to pay off all of that and to get back into the black rather than the red that they're probably in now. Also, is there anything that says that EA has to be the game developer that does this? What about something like 2K Sports or another burgeoning video game developer that wants to get into the sports platform? I know EA would have all of the years and years of backlogged information and AI and all of that built in, but really if you took a year or two, you could probably implement most of that into a new game if you're developing the game yourself. I love Madden. I love playing Madden as well, and I really love creating players and having those players get drafted and saving the players and moving them over into the newest Madden game. I think that's always been really cool how the two are compatible, and I would definitely still like that to happen. If you create a player, I definitely want him to be able to be drafted and go into Madden, and you be able to play as him on another game, but I'm willing to risk that if it means getting this game back. This game is probably too important to me. I understand that, and maybe it's just me, but I'm willing to risk some of those little things like the roster being exactly how it is, or the compatibility with Madden in order to get this game. Think about what we didn't have in NCAA 14. We didn't have a playoff. Hell, we didn't even have certain teams like South Alabama, Coastal Carolina, Old Dominion, Georgia Southern, App State, Charlotte. There's a lot of new FBS teams in the South. So what features do you guys want to see in the next NCAA game? I think it is too much money. It's too valuable of a product to sit on the shelves forever. I do believe it will be back. Maybe it's because I want it to be back, but I do believe this game will be back in the future. What are some features that you want to see? One that I want to see, choice of playoff. So you can do the 14 playoff, you can do the BCS, you can do where some random poll There's some people who think that's good, that the polls, before the Bowl Alliance just picked the team. I think you should be able to have a playoff from 4 all the way up to 64 teams, because it's a video game and you should be able to do anything you want to do. You want to be Rice and be the 64th team in a playoff and go all the way and win the whole thing? Absolutely. I really liked the customizable schools and conferences and divisions, how you could add certain, teams to certain conferences, and I want you to be able to create conferences. That's something you couldn't do in the last one. To create divisions, to be able to place teams wherever you want and create your own NCAA, kind of like I've done in previous videos on this channel. I think you should be able... I want the FCS teams to be in there, though I don't know how real and likely that is for them to bring that back. I would like the FCS teams to be in the mix as well. If I want to be able to play as Furman, I should be able to play as Furman. I also really miss the feature where you could build a school, you could make the colors and pick the fight song and make the mascots, and I think that would be really cool in an updated version of this game. I think they should continue the different covers for different athletes, not on different platforms. That's dumb. If my favorite player is on the Xbox, I have a PS4, I'm not going to buy an Xbox game. That's dumb. But put, 4 or 5 different athletes on, where you can kind of pick it. They had it, I believe, for NCAA 14, where each school had a cover that you could pre-order for a little bit extra money. I think that's a cool idea, too. We have the player mode, where you start out as a high school player and get recruited and go up through the ranks. We have Dynasty mode, where you're a coach. What about Athletic Director mode, where you can negotiate contracts with other schools or build new facilities, things like that. I also really liked the Heisman Challenge, where you were running back at Georgia, and you had Herschel Walker's stats during his Heisman year throughout the season, and you had to try to beat his stats and everything. I thought that was really cool, and I don't remember what game it was, but there was 1 or 2 years where they had a feature where it was some of the most memorable plays from college football history, and you had to try to recreate it. I remember it was Doug Flutie's Hail Mary was on there. The BYU Holiday Bowl Come From Behind Victory was on there. Donovan McNabb's comeback at Syracuse was on there. I think you tried to avoid the choke at Doak. I think that was on there. And I really like that, and it could be updated. I mean, you have the Kick 6. You have the Michigan State-Michigan finish from 2015. The Miami-Duke finish from 2015. The BYU-Nebraska Hail Mary. There's been a slew of great finishes. The 2-minute drill, Clemson against Alabama in the last national championship game. That would be a really cool feature in the new game as well. So there it is. That is my thoughts on how to bring back the newest NCAA video game. Again, it may be an incredibly simplistic way to look at it, but I really think it's all about the money. That's all it's about, is this idea of clashing between, we want to use players' likeness, but we don't want to pay the players. 1, because we want to keep money, and 2, it's against NCAA rules. So if you just take that out of the equation and just put some random Joe Schmoes in there, don't have them have the same abilities or numbers or names, then it's not their likeness, and you're just using the schools and the conferences and all of that. So I hope it's as simple as that. I desperately hope this game comes back. I figured it up. There's 8,760 hours in a year. Without a doubt, I have played 8,760 hours of this game franchise. Not even a question in my mind. I also talked about some of the features that I would like in the new games and features that I want them to bring back from the previous games. What about you? What are other things that you played in these video game series that you really miss, that you want them to bring back, or that you want them to add and expand upon? Let me know that down below. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. You can click the circle right there in order to subscribe, or watch any of the videos over there to the right that YouTube has suggested for you. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time. Hey Lifers, Dustin here, and we are only eight Saturdays away from the start of the college football season, 7 from the week 0 games, but 8 Saturdays away from when everyone starts playing. Today is a video that is near and dear to my heart. It has been suggested by a couple of people on this platform, as well as pretty much any young college football fan that I know of, and that is, how in the world can we finally bring back EA Sports NCAA Football video game franchise? This is, without a doubt, thousands of hours playing this video game. I'm not kidding. This is how I started watching movies. I would play my video game and watch movies on my computer because I'm a millennial and I have to multitask. This game was everything. Since I got this video game, I've probably had played it more days than days I didn't play it. Going back to like 2004. I used to wait up like many of you and go to GameStop at midnight on the day it was released and grab it, go home, unpackage it, figure out all the brand new doubt. My favorite video game franchise of all time. If I told you how many hours I have spent playing this stupid video game, going back all the way to NCAA Football 04, I believe, with Joey Harrington. Maybe it was 03. That was the first one I ever bought.